Welcome to the future, where the glass is half full and you'll need new glasses, where you'll be jumping from conclusions.
The past is annulled, and a new future is born.
Never before in history has so much meant so little to so many. AD on the radio.
So it's getting close. It's getting close. Tonight's the last debate. It means that the reality of pulling that lever of democracy is literally right around the corner. You can almost feel America's collective intake of breath. Be like, oh, wait, this is the last one. This is the last debate. We've been watching on and off as all the debates happened over what seems like an eternity, as potential candidates got whittled down. Remember when it all started out on the Republican side, there were so many people vying to be president of these United States of America that if you weren't polling well enough, you had to sit at what they called the kids' table and do a secondary debate that nobody watched. And then some people pulled ahead and got off of the kids' table and got to sit at the adults' table. And, well, one by one, they got picked off. They dropped out. They realized that there was not a mathematical probability or a mathematical path to being president of the United States of America by way of a nomination. And then there were two, and people went, oh, God. Oh, man. Really? Oh, this is funny. It's not, SNL's having people on, and there's a million memes and impersonations and all this. Oh, this is hilarious. Oh, God, this is ridiculous. And then the debate started, and people went, ooh, I don't know. I don't. One of them's going to be running the country. I don't. Well, it's cool. At least I've got my candidate. Oh, my candidate did what? I have a hard time standing behind. And here we are on the eve of change, standing at the foothills of a tremendous mountain of change that we are about to climb in America. Either way, no matter what the result is, going, alackaday forsooth, what the hell are we to do? I know a lot of talk show hosts have been like, what are we going to talk about when this is all over? I was like, that, my friend, is when the real fun and games will no doubt begin. And in the run-up to the election, what we've done, what we've tried to do, look, everybody's so dug in. Everybody is so divided. People are losing friendships. People are not talking to family members. People who respected folks 6 months ago have decided they can't even look at them now. And so what we've seen is our little roll around here. What we've seen is our little roll around here is to maybe try and bridge some of the gaps of ideas and understanding and recognize that, hey, look, we're all working toward the same stuff. We all want the same things. The things, and we've said it time and time again on this show, the things that are universal are, we all want to be able to put a roof over our head. We all want to be able to do work that is meaningful to us and provides for things like that roof over our head and food and clothes and things like that. If you have a kid, you want that kid to have a real shot in this world. You want them to have a shot at an education and a life, maybe a better life than you had. All of these things, like we keep saying, are universal. We just have very different ideas about the best way to attain them and get there. But if we bear in mind that we're all working toward what is essentially the same stuff, maybe we can slow down. Maybe we can not become so dismissive of anybody that believes anything that's even a little bit different than us. Maybe we can stop. Maybe we can have a conversation. Maybe we can learn something from each other and get there faster. So in the run-up to the election, and no doubt after the election happens, this is our role, I think, around these parts. Trying to bridge gaps of understanding and beliefs. And as part of that, we've tried to get as many different people as we can in the studio that believe as many different things as possible and talk to them in our Punk Rock Politics interview segments. We've talked to a diverse set of individuals, actors, comedians, adult film stars, some of the biggest musicians in the world. And the idea with all of this is not is not to get people in a room and say, oh, we disagree with you. Gotcha. And it's not to get people in a room that we think the same. It's not to get people in the room that we agree with and go, oh, you're so right. You're so right. And evangelize to each other about how freaking fantastic it is that we all believe the same stuff. No, the idea is to understand other people and how they came to believe the things that they believe. And that's a very important first step. And our guest on the show today is actor Amanda Clayton. You've seen her in films like John Carter, If Loving You Is Wrong, Bad Frank, and a whole bunch more. She's also in the movie The Bet. We're going to be talking to her next. Thank you so much for hanging out.
Where the left and right come together for fundamental truths. AD on the radio, on Twitter at ADSXE.
Our guest on the show today, as part of our Punk Rock Politics interview series, is actor Amanda Clayton. You have seen her in all manner of things, up to and including John Carter, If Loving You Is Wrong, Bad Frank, and a whole bunch more. Not only that, but she's in the movie The Bet, which is playing, is it tonight, Funkhauser, at the Orlando Film Festival?
It's Friday.
Yeah. Oh, Friday. It's not Friday yet? I feel like I've worked. I honestly thought that it was Friday. Yeah, I feel like. What day is today?
Wednesday. It's Hump Day Wednesday, everybody.
Oh, pump BS on that. It feels like it should be. I feel like I've worked enough to where it should be Friday now. But if you happen to be in or around the Orlando area, especially if you're checking out the Orlando Film Festival, please go see the hilarious movie The Bet, starring Amanda Clayton and a whole bunch of the friends that have been passing through over the last couple of weeks. It's good stuff, and you'll be sorry if you miss it. Amanda Clayton, welcome to the show.
What's going on?
I'm glad you brought all these people.
Yes,
Yeah.
I did. This is my entourage. Very excited.
You roll
to be
deep.
Here.
Oh. So look, I ask this question of musicians all the time because you get great stories, and I find the same goes for comedians and actors. But if you had to pick one moment, maybe it was a movie you saw, a TV show, or maybe it was seeing someone in the theater, or who knows what it was. But if you had to pick the moment where something really reached you and you went, this is what I must do with my life. This is my purpose. This is my mission. This is what I want to do. I'm going to be an actor. What would you say that would be?
Oh man, my story is pretty, pretty. I don't know, loaded. I was 3. I can't remember what the show was. It was one of those, like, not Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, but like a show with like people and puppets. And there was this moment.
Wait, hold on. What was the one with Gary Gnu? That's the Gnu's with Gary Gnu's. Anyone know?
I don't know. That sounds European to me.
Anyways, please continue.
I vividly remember watching this show. Can't remember for the life of me what it actually was. And there was these puppets, and one of the puppets lost something. And they were really, really sad. And so the show went on, and it was, trying to find this thing for this puppet, and the human people were helping it and all this stuff. And then toward the end of the show, they found it, and the puppet got so happy. And I remember sitting there and having this insane feeling of like wanting to cry, but being happy. And at 3, how do you sort that out? And I had no idea what was going on, but I was like, this is awesome. And I don't remember doing this, but the story within my family, my mom tells me, I told her, Mommy, I want to live in the TV. I want to live there. I want to be, and I remember the thinking, I remember the thought process of, this feels so cool. I want to be part of those people that make other people feel how I'm feeling right now. In whatever 3-year-old context that came across my brain. But so I didn't understand I want to be an actor. I just knew that I wanted to affect people in the way that this story had affected me at super young age. And that was go live inside the television. So I'm like, Mom, how do I do that? How do I live in there? And now I'm living in a television, and it's pretty cool.
Seems like you found that thing.
Do you refer back to that? Because honestly, that's a very, very pure reason for wanting to do something. And I think a lot of artists and musicians and entertainers, there's a lot of folks that I know that just they're driven by a need for significance, or they want to be famous, or they want, or they want to make a whole bunch of money. And you see those people, and sometimes it works out for them. But the idea of I want to reach people, what this is doing to me, whatever it is, whether it's music or film or TV or whatever this is doing to me, I want to be part of what creates that for other people.
Right.
And it's such a pure way to go through life, especially because, you happened upon it when you were 3 years old, as opposed to when you were a teenager and thought, I want to be a star. It's such a pure motivation for wanting to do literally anything. Do you refer back to that over and over again as you go through life?
A lot. The fame thing and the money and stuff, I totally understand that, to make money in this business is near impossible. And I've been lucky enough to get some great jobs that, I don't have to wait tables anymore, which is really nice now. Mm-hmm. But I did until about 4 years ago. And it's, so that keeps me grounded in that way. And I think just staying grounded, especially being in LA and being in a world of people that are just here to be famous, and I have zero interest in that. It's fun to go out and get recognized, and have people come up and be excited about something, be mad at me. My character on If Loving You Is Wrong is kind of, I'm having an affair with my next door neighbor, and I have his kid.
A terrible example.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of people who don't really care for my character. And it's fun to have them come up and scowl at me and they know
struck by lightning.
They know that it's a show. They know that it's not really me, and they get excited when they see me and one of my co-stars who's one of my best friends, and who we're the enemies on the show. They see us out together and they're like, oh my God, you guys hang out in real life and this is amazing. And they get all excited. And that part is really fun, to connect with fans and stuff. But to be, I don't envy people that are A-list celebrities and can't just go out and go to Starbucks. That's insane to me. I remember reading an article with Jennifer Lawrence maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And they said, what would a perfect day in your life be? Perfect day for you. What is it? And she said, I just want to go to Starbucks and order my own coffee that and sit there and drink it. That would be a perfect day for me. That's insane. And I have zero desire for that. I really just like doing my show, doing some cool movies, and having people relate and respond to it.
Excellent. Amanda Clayton, we'll get more from her when she comes back. We'll also talk about her movie, The Bet. Where can people tweet you?
At Amanda Clayton. Hold on. I got to look it up because I forget what my name is now.
No, I'm looking at it now. At Amanda Clayton. You're all good.
Always fair and mentally unbalanced. KPRC AM 950, Houston's more stimulating talk radio.
Don't get the blues, get all the news. We mean all of you guys out there in Radio Land. All aboard!
He's back. AD on the radio.
Give it up, yeah. Give it up, yeah. Bring this on, come on, come on.
So going back to you getting recognized when you're out in the street, when you're out for coffee with one of your co-stars. Our guest on the show today is Amanda Clayton, and one of your best friends is your arch rival on the show, If Loving You Is Wrong. And when you say people are sort of surprised, oh, you hang out. The palpable hatred we see on screen, not so much a thing.
Exactly. They get a little thrown by it.
I wonder if it's irresponsible. I wonder if that's destructive to the narrative of the show.
It's
if people
funny.
See you getting along.
We've thought about it and live tweeting some stuff with her and I watching the show together, or tweeting pictures or whatever together, and we decided to kind of avoid it because of that, to keep up. People get into this and they think it is real, and it's the ones that see us out in public, that's kind of unavoidable. But as much as possible, I mean, we post Instagram pictures and stuff together, but we try not to really put it out while people are watching the show, because it can probably be a little off-putting. They're like, wait a minute, this isn't real. This is upsetting to me.
My life is a lie.
My life is a lie.
I can't remember which wrestler it was, but there was one specific wrestler. It might have, was it the Iron Sheik? Was it? I can't remember. There was one wrestler in the 80s who, one of them was a good guy, the other one was a bad guy, and they were supposed to be mortal enemies. And there was still kind of like a narrative floating around that this might be real, like wrestling might be real.
Right.
And they were spotted like hanging out together or getting drunk together, or maybe, I think, one of them's car didn't come to pick him up from an airport, so they just drove out together in a rental car, and people saw him. Were like, "Hey, it's not real," and it was a big deal. I think one of them might have wound up getting fired from the WWF, I think it was called at the time. But it's interesting how you can mess with people's heads like that.
Yeah, there's an illusion. It's like, don't look behind the curtain. Just keep it on this front, and it's fun, but I still have to live life and go out and hang out with my friend.
I remember, but like, it's so weird. It's so strange. Like, because, look, people watch TV, people listen to the radio, people play video games, people do all these things. Why? Because you need a break. It's a little bit of escapism. You need something that allows you to forget, the bills, the hassles you're having at work, and all of the above for half hour, 40 minutes, an hour, whatever the length of the show is. And so that's kind of like, that the integrity of that world, what it means to them to be able to disappear. That thing that you were talking about, making people feel the way you feel while you're watching TV.
Exactly.
Is like, it's such a valuable thing. I remember Ricky Gervais was talking about what it was like to hang out with Larry David once, and he was like, we went out to dinner, and he was like, let me get that, and he was like, no, thanks very much, Larry, I appreciate that. And he was like, you're not even gonna try? He's like, hanging out with you is just like being in a real life episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. This is great. Thank you for being cranky and living up to my expectations.
It's an exciting little escape for us too, as the actor, to jump into a world where we're not the people that we are. And for me, it's fun because my character on the show is very like Betty Crocker, cookie cutter housewife mom who wears like pink cardigans and little dresses and stuff. And me, I'm like right now in black jeans and a leather jacket. And so when I go out in public, not a lot of people relate that it's me right away because I don't dress like her or look like her when I'm just out and about. And they'll recognize Heather, my co-star, first, and then they look and they're like, wait a minute, you're with her? And but I just try to keep my head down and like move away because she gets all the sympathy and I get all the butt of everything. I get like scolded in public by people.
Love your show, but what you did was really messed up.
Exactly.
So you're in the movie The Bet, which is and if you're in Orlando, it's shown at the Orlando Film Festival this Friday. Down on his luck man gets into this weird bet where he has one summer to find and hook up with every single girl that he had a crush on from the first grade to the 12th grade. What's describe your role in that?
So I play Amanda Morrison, who was Denton's the main character, and I was his second grade crush. And I kind of come back around. We run into each other. He kind of stalks me, and we run into each other. And instead of it just being a quick, simple hookup, he actually catches a bit of feelings for Miss Amanda later in life, and keeps balking at just the simple hookup, and that starts to irritate his friends because they're about to lose the bet and he won't just hook up with her because he really cares about her. And then I find out. So drama ensues.
Let me ask you this. Did you have any real life experience to draw on? Have you ever hooked up with anybody that was your friend or your crush or someone that you knew from high school?
Oh, God, yes. I always dated, through high school. All the guys that I dated were my friends. I never really just, went on a date with somebody and just kind of got to know them. I was, a friend for a couple years, and then we were like, this feels fun, and started dating. And then it would fall apart because it was, awkward. It was like, I don't know if I want to kiss you. I just want to hang out with you all the time. And,
right.
And then after high school...
My friend is naked.
That's weird. But then after, God, I had lived in New York for a couple of years and come back home for a little bit before I moved out here to L.A. And I was back in Rhode Island and ran into a friend from high school and was like, hey, why didn't we ever hang out in high school? And like, I think it was like on Valentine's Day, just so happened to be like when I was officially back home and we were like both free. It was like, hey, let's hang out on Friday. Oh, whoops, it's Valentine's Day. And so we like went to dinner and hung out, and I think we ended up showing up to my high school reunion together or something. Ooh. And yeah, which I was like, we're going to start all kinds of rumors, but we just like went there together. We weren't like dating, but we just were kind of hanging out. And we did. We kind of started dating a little bit, but it was like, I'm moving to LA. You're still here. This is like, we've known each other since high school. This is awkward. But yeah, I definitely went through that like post high school. Now we're adults, haven't seen each other in like 7 years. Let's hang out kind of thing. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then it was over.
Yeah, no, you hear all the, I don't know what it is, and I think sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I've heard numerous stories of people going to high school reunions and hooking up and then actually dating. In fact, I know some people that went to school that met at a high school reunion and wound up getting married like a year and a half later and still together and have beautiful kids and all that sort of stuff. But there's something about your childhood, you know, that person that you were when you were maybe not at 3, but you know, the person that you were when you were a kid, and things were simpler and things were easier, and you're immediately reconnected to a part of yourself that maybe that person even has an understanding of in the way that people you meet in your daily life
totally different way, right? You don't have to catch up. You don't have to like, you know, explain anything. It's just like, hey, 7 years later, it doesn't really matter. And the thing, I was super shy in high school. I was a cheerleader and I played softball and I did all this stuff and I was pretty friends with pretty much everyone. I wasn't like in one certain clique, and but I was really shy. I wasn't very outgoing as far as, you know, talking to boys or anything like that. And so to come back and be like, you know, now who I am and I don't care anymore. And it was like, yeah, I liked you in high school. What the hell was your problem? Like, why didn't you ever talk to me? And just to be like, okay, let's like officially talk about the feelings that we had when we were 16 years old.
Now you're an actor in TV and movies and things of that nature. Do you ever get sort of like the day after your movie comes out, like a weird text at 1 o'clock in the morning, be like, you up? It's so-and-so from the 9th grade. Like, has that like entered into your life at all?
Not really. I think most people know that I'm married now. And so, you know, it would be even more awkward. But I do have my ex-boyfriend from high school who we were really close friends and we dated like twice, and our families were close friends. Our families still get together at holidays and stuff. And he actually, that was the biggest shock, was after my show started airing, he texted me out of nowhere and said, or I think he Facebook messaged me and was like, oh my God, Amanda, I'm obsessed with your show. My show is like a primetime soap opera. This is not a show for dudes. It's about 5 women like dealing with affairs and all this stuff. And he's obsessed and he watches it religiously now. And that was really fun to like reconnect with him in that way and know that he's supporting me from afar, and and just so that the guys tuning in is really nice. It's appreciated.
There you go. Oh, very good. And is your husband, does he act as well?
He does. He's an actor, and he's been kind of dabbling in production and writing as well. And the movie Bad Frank that we it's kind of making the festival rounds as well as the Bet. We just had a festival in Atlantic City, New Jersey that we were at last weekend, and it did really well. And he was a co-writer for that, produced it, and he was the lead. He plays Frank in the movie as well. So, and I play his wife, conveniently.
Oh.
So yeah, he's doing his thing too, and he's got a couple projects coming up, writing-wise and production-wise. So.
Would you say in a relationship it makes it easier or more difficult if you're both in show business, if you're both actors?
I think it depends on the people. I think it can be really difficult. You know, I go to Atlanta once a year for about a month or month and a half to film my show, so I'm away for that whole time. And while I'm there, I'm working. I talk to him in the morning and at night, and that's it. and he'll come to visit and stuff. But that's, you're away, and then you're like making out with like 2 other dudes while you're away. Like it's not normal. We don't have a normal business whatsoever.
Professional detachment and all that sort of thing. Is it like, I'm just going to go ahead and ask, is it weird, like, to see your significant other, your husband and your wife, make out with someone on screen? Are you able to go like, "Oh, it's good, well done. You're doing your job well. I bought that." Like,
I detach from it really well. I feel like because I detach from myself on screen completely. So watching me on screen doing something, I don't even like think it's me half the time. I just like zone out from that. He gets a little uptight about it here and there. He's really good friend. The guy that I have an affair with on the show, his name's Elton Williams, and he and Elton threw his bachelor party here in LA. Like they're like super good buddies now. Exactly. Super weird. And the whole show, season 1, the entire show opened with this huge scene of him and I getting it on in a shed. So, awkward, but they're really good friends, and he's really good about it. But then when it comes on screen, and they would keep like flashing back to that scene for all of season 1, and my husband's like, "Are you kidding me right now? I don't want to see this anymore." But then, he had a scene with another girl in the movie that we did together. And he gets uptight, like, "I don't want you to watch this. Like, stop watching this." And I'm like, "Babe, it doesn't matter to me. I get it. Like, I know that you're, like, partially clothed and nothing's actually happening. It doesn't bother me." But to see him, there was actually another project that he did.
But do you think maybe he wants it to bother you a little bit? Like, come on, you sure it doesn't bother you a little bit? Bothers me when I see you get it on screen with a guy that threw my bachelor party. This should bother you a little bit.
I think it does a little. Not bothers him, but he's just like, "I don't get it. Like, why doesn't this matter to you?" And I have to zone out when I watch myself. Never mind watch him. So I just kind of do, and it's so awkward in actually filming it. It's there's nothing romantic or exciting about it whatsoever. It's so fucking awkward. And so it's, I understand it. And it's just this weird part of our job.
Funkhauser, we are not in delay.
Oh, no, I got it.
You got it?
As you were.
Good.
And so, it bothers me more to watch him be emotionally intimate with somebody. There was a scene that I watched him film with this girl, and she was all upset and crying, and he ran to her and like grabbed her and was like holding her face and like pulled her into this like really emotional hug. And I was like, oh my God. And that got me more than watching him like be with some other girl sexually. It was like watching this emotional connection between him and like him taking care of this other girl. That got to me.
Hey, wait a minute.
Hey, that's my safe zone. That's my hug spot.
Right. That's exactly how you hug me. Are you acting when you hug me?
So, yeah, it's just a weird part of our job. You just got to deal with it. Have people that are understanding.
Very good. More with Amanda Clayton when we return. We'll do a little news, and then we'll talk about what she believes politically. Thank you so much for hanging out. Tweet her, Amanda Clayton, at Amanda Clayton.
You're waiting to get washed away. Time won't stop, but I'll stop time to run away and make you mine. I'll take you where you wanna be. I'll make you love me so you...
Real radio. Real radio.
104.1.
Now, more AD on the radio.
Back once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving you a musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD, and can't nobody rock a body better than me. Back once again.
Our guest on the show today as part of our Punk Rock Politics interview series is Amanda Clayton, star of a whole bunch of things that I'm sure you've seen. You might have seen her in John Carter, If Loving You Is Wrong, Bad Frank, and a whole bunch more, including the movie The Bet, which is part of the Orlando Film Festival. If you're one of the people that listen in Orlando on Real Radio 104.1, go see it this Friday when it airs as part of that. We're going to talk about what she believes politically and how that came to be a little later on. Right now, though, Funkhauser, let's take a look at the events of today in our segment, My Witness News.
Okay. I can do that.
Good.
Pearl Jam, Tupac, Jane's Addiction, and Yes are among the nominees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Just in case you already didn't feel incredibly old today. All that music that you grew up on, that's now officially...
Is the hologram going to accept if they go up?
I hope the hologram accepts.
Me too.
You know who's been nominated over and over again and never made it in? Chic. You know, the disco band Chic?
Oh, Le Freak.
They are nominated for the 11th time. Like, 11th time. Chic has been nominated for the 11th time, so if they don't make it again this year, they're used to it. I doubt they're going to freak out. All right. Thank you very much. The whole show has been leading up to that. That's all I got. What else?
Billy Bush is officially out at the Today Show. Gone. Gonzo. Bye.
Amanda, you're all Hollywood. Have you ever had any interaction with Mr. Bush? Like, you ever met that
Have you
guy?
ever been asked to give someone else a hug from someone?
I have not. So I doubt I will.
Not
now.
yet.
Doubt I will now.
I don't know.
Do you think he'll bounce back and get a NBC gig or something?
Oh, he'll end up somewhere, but yeah, who knows?
QVC is looking.
This might be like a QVC. Why do I have a really easy time picturing that? Yeah, Billy Bush officially out at the Today Show. If the at the Today Show part wasn't added to that sentence, would have totally made Shepard Smith's day. Shepard Smith, did he come out as part of National Coming Out Day? Like, was he? Like, Shepard Smith came out, which I thought, hey, you're at Fox News. This is not an easy decision to make because, we live in a world where people can't be themselves without fear of recrimination. People can't just be the way that they are, that they have come into this world. A lot of people are hated simply for being who they are. And I thought it was actually, given everything that he's involved with. I know, look, I understand when I say that's a brave thing to do, people are going to go, that's not brave. Being in the Army and being a first responder, that's brave. Look, they don't have the exclusive on courage, and I'm not in any way, shape, or form trying to compare one or the other. Let's not get this twisted. I'll head that one off of the past before it happens. Shut it down on Twitter first. But I do think it was kind of a courageous move of Shepard Smith to come out. It's kind of like when Rob Halford from Judas Priest came out. People were like, yeah, so you arrive in assless chaps on a big Harley Davidson and S&M gear on stage every single night. This is not a surprise to us, and I don't think it was a surprise to too many people. But for Shepard Smith, it might not have been a surprise. But I thought it involved a certain amount of cojones.
Yes. The last time we heard from him, though, he said we were all going to die because we were too close to the hurricane.
Right.
You and your family
my God, that's right.
are all dead.
Yeah. I'm not saying he's a good or responsible newsman. Let's compartmentalize these things. I don't like him. The moment he comes on TV, I'm like, we're watching something else. But nevertheless, again, compartmentalizing, wishing hot death upon all of us by a hurricane, not so much, but going, hey, I'm gay, and everybody. I wonder though, have you heard the expression? Either of you? This is kind of a Hollywood thing. Have you heard the expression when someone outs you before you're ready to be outed? Do you know what they call it now?
No.
What? I guess it happened to Lance Bass from. That's his name, Bass, right? The guy from NSYNC.
From NSYNC, yeah.
Yeah, so somebody outed him publicly before he was ready to do that. And so now when somebody lets the world know that you're gay before you're ready to let them know, they call it being lanced.
I have not heard that. But
Well, it's now one of your
now it's
expressions.
a term.
Yeah.
Urban
Yeah.
Dictionary.
Yes. What else?
Hold on. Nancy O'Dell and her husband split. Who's Nancy O'Dell?
Nancy O'Dell was the Trump, the topic of the entire Billy Bush Trump conversation.
Okay?
If she loses any of her furniture in the divorce.
Oh, man.
I know someone who will happily take her shopping. Thank you very much. You ever met or talked to Nancy O'Dell?
No,
I'm all excited because we have somebody that's part of like the Hollywood establishment here today, and so like usually these names are just vague references to people that we've seen on TV. Now we have like a connection to them. So when all these names come up, I'm going to be like, what are they really like, Amanda? Go on, Funkhauser.
CBS is turning Candy Crush into a game show.
How's that going to work?
I don't know.
It's
Gotta get
confusing
3 in a row and they break.
All right. First, it is confusing, though, because first they want us to watch TV on our phones, and now they want us to watch our phones on TV. Make up your freaking minds. What the hell, man? Did you spend time crushing candy?
Yeah. An ex of mine spent $500 downloading extra.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
I said, you did what?
$500?
Yeah. You need a lot of extra, lives.
That's an addiction.
Hearts or something.
Did you spend money on Candy Crush, Amanda?
I did not ever. I'd played it, yeah, but I'd never spent money on Candy Crush.
So here is what I learned about Candy Crush and video games like that. What happens is the levels get progressively harder, and inevitably they're like, hey, for $1.50, you can get an extra life or whatever the hell it is to take to complete that level.
Right.
Don't do it. And I'll tell you why. It's because up until that point, they know you're not on the hook. You haven't had to put in your credit card number. But once you spend money to beat a level of Candy Crush or whatever game it is, they then make it impossible for you to get past certain levels without spending more cash.
Yep.
That is how, as they say, they get you. And that's how they got Funkhauser's X for $500.
Stimulated minds want to know, what were you thinking? No, really, give us a call and tell us. KPRC AM 950.
There's something happening here, and you should know what it is.
The Dumbing Up of America. Now, more AD on the radio.
Our guest on the show today is actor Amanda Clayton, star of movies like John Carter, also in If Loving You Is Wrong, Bad Frank, and a whole bunch more, including The Bet, which is part of the Orlando Film Festival. If you're a Real Radio 104.1 listener, go see it this Friday as part of the festival. So you're married to the guy in Bad Frank, you said.
I am.
And I'm as part of preparation for the show today, I've got your IMDb page open.
Oh boy!
Is your husband the extremely muscular-looking guy, looking like he's ready to beat somebody up with a club?
That's Kevin.
He's like enormous. I would want to go like, hey, dude, you want to go hang out in really bad neighborhoods in Detroit while I insult folks? You want to come with me and do that?
He's a pretty tough dude. He's an Army vet. He was overseas for a while. He was, into boxing and was originally going to move to LA to start training for like MMA stuff, and then wound up getting cast on Sopranos for a couple episodes and stuff, and then got sent overseas, and everything just kind of fell into different directions, and now acting is his thing. So
I just started watching Sopranos a little while ago. It's one of those things where like I'm completely late on it, and I don't know why I didn't watch it when it was originally happening.
Here.
But I needed something to binge watch, and so and now I'm watching Sopranos and I want to talk about it, and everyone's like, dude, that's 15 years ago.
10 years ago.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm like, and what about the time where Christopher goes to the meat place and they're like, who cares? This is like getting excited by Where's the Beef or Pepsi Crystal or something like that. Stop talking about it. I'm like, no, just watched it. Want to talk about it now. But so I can't really, I think I'm in season 3. Who is he on it?
Oh, I can't remember what season it was. His character's name was Dogsy, and he was like one of like Tony's lackeys or whatever. He was like chasing some guy down for money from Tony or whatever, and unfortunately he was supposed to come back the following season, and then he got the call and got sent overseas, and so there went that.
Sent overseas as part
to
of
Iraq.
So he was between tours when he got his gig on The Sopranos, and then had to go back to Iraq.
Yeah, he was National Guard, so he was home in Jersey when he got cast on Sopranos, and then he, got sent over. So he was there for about 10 months.
Wow.
Afterwards, yeah.
Wow. That's
quite a hiccup in a career, but yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, but also, incredible that he's managed to do two of those things at the same time, congruently. It's very, very interesting and very, very cool. And when you see him, thank him for us for his service.
I will, for sure.
That's awesome. Funkazzer, how much time do we have left?
This is it. We got a good 10 here.
We got a good 10. Let's do 2 or 3 more pieces of news, and then let's talk politics with Amanda.
Okay, fine. Fox News host Shepard Smith has come out of the closet.
Yeah.
It's official.
I believe he first knew he was gay when he recognized the fact that his name was Shepard Smith. Here's the thing. If I know Fox News viewers, I'm sure they're going to treat this development with nothing but open-hearted kindness. It'll be good times for him. Like I said, it's its own type of brave. It's not, let's separate it. It's not military. It's not first responder. It's not putting your life on the line to protect those of others, but not an easy move for somebody in that situation. So I applaud it, despite his remarks about hurricanes. What else?
Jon Favreau turns 50 today.
Wow.
I'm going to celebrate by relentlessly quoting swingers, replied insufferable idiots absolutely everywhere. You're so money, baby. Do you like that movie?
I've seen that movie one time, and I loved it. It was one of those ones that never went back to. No, I just never went back to it again. And, it's just not available immediately. It doesn't pop up all the time, so... Now I will. To celebrate his birthday, I will go back and watch Swingers.
Well, I'll go home and watch Swingers. What's interesting about it is, it was one of those things where it was insufferable tools were quoting Swingers to me left, right, and center. It's just folks that I wouldn't be friends with were the military or have been part of the military tend to lean a little bit right. 9 out of 10 folks that are like you from where my family's from, the Northeast, tend to be more liberal and or Democratic. And so if you've got sort of a Republican-Democrat divide within your household, that could, I think that's a great lesson in getting along for everybody to pay attention to. But I could be way off. So why don't you jump in?
No, you're not. You're right on. There's definitely, I think just my own thought process, I guess, would be defined as more liberal. I'm very open to things and very much more forward thinking than traditional thinking but then I have military in my family and my husband is a veteran, and so there's elements of things that those Republican views touch on that are important to me as well, where just taking care of them when they get home. It's so insane how many guys come home and the level of work that they have to put in on their own just to get assistance. It's really not a joke. It's a big deal to come home from overseas and to reacclimate into just normal life, and where everybody else is just la la la, everything's fine over here, and they're like, oh my God, no, it's not. You don't even understand.
Well, I'm so glad that you bring this up, because we talk about this on the show literally all of the time. Look, I think it's 1 out of 3 or 2 out of 3 homeless males in America is a veteran. And 9 times out, and the vast majority of people that are homeless have some sort of mental scars. And it's crazy to me that folks can't get the help they need. We had some folks from the VA in the studio a little while ago, and some of them were folks that were working for the VA, and some were getting treatment at the VA, and literally all of them were veterans. And I was like, what can we do? What can we do? What can everybody do in their world to help? And they're just please do everything you can to destigmatize asking for help. We know so many veterans that can't get help because they won't ask for it. But these things, do whatever you can do to destigmatize mental issues, problems, illnesses, whatever you want to call them. Please do that and let people know it's not wrong to reach out for help. And it's crazy and criminal that's put on us, radio people, the public, to do this, when it should 100% be the government looking after the people that signed up to lay their lives on the line for all of us.
Absolutely.
It's bananas to me.
It is, and it's, the VA is a really great organization, has helped my husband a lot, and but the unfortunate thing is, he explains it like it was almost like a full-time job just to get in there and get paperwork done, and he had to do it on his own. Nobody guided him through it at all. It was he had to say okay, I'm going to go in and see what is available to me now to help with whatever. And it's a really big process, and guys that are Vietnam vets are still not getting the help that they need, and haven't gotten the help that they need now X amount of years later, and trying to get into the system fresh from then because it wasn't made available right away to them. And there needs to be a lot more assistance to these guys pre and during and post, going overseas. And it's not even, a lot of people don't, in the military, sometimes you don't even go overseas. Sometimes you're just here and serving, which is wonderful. And it's still part of serving our country. And you are still sacrificing a lot of your, the things that we take for granted, where you're living and just the things that you need to do to be part of the military. And then some of them end up overseas and, they're in a base the whole time and that you don't see any real difficulties over there. And then other guys are thrown right into the middle of melee and seeing things that you can't even think about. And knowing the reality of what's going on in other places. And then you come back here and we're all just running around worried about what Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, said or did or whatever else. And it's so backwards from what these guys know as reality that it's really difficult, really, really difficult to reacclimate to just our la-di-da little lives that we live because we have no idea what they're doing to keep us in this little bubble. Yeah. No, people don't understand, and it's the other thing that, and just because I want to try and get this out there as much as possible. One of the veterans that came in said, "Hey, please encourage every single veteran to register for the VA." And I was like, "Okay." And I put something up on Facebook, and lots of veterans didn't even know this, but they said the funding that they get from Congress is related to how many people are registered. So even if you have your own health insurance, even if you don't find a need to go to the VA for yourself, you're helping out other veterans just by registering. You're helping out other veterans because that increases funding to the VA. Something that I didn't know, other veterans didn't seem to know, and it's something that seems important to mention. So you and your husband, you occupy different political spaces, but you managed to get along pretty well, I would imagine, being a married couple. Yeah, for sure. He's kind of on the same fence as I am. Obviously, military issues sit much heavier with him, and the whole thing with Hillary and the emails and the not responding and just all that stuff. It's a really big issue for him. A lot of my friends. It's my dad and I got into it the other day about it. It's it's an issue, and I get it. And but that's something that rings truer to them, and I think that that's what our whole country is kind of going through. It's like there's all of these different things that affect everybody a little bit differently because it's what's more important to you privately. And it's, this whole leak about Trump and the things that he said and all that stuff as a female, I cannot, excuse or get behind a man that behaves that way. So that's a difficult thing to me. But then I understand a lot of his other points and his views and the financial stuff and everything else. And it's, it's weighing out those two opposite ends. And it's tough. Well, I think the real lesson that we've learned from Amanda here today is the fact that, hey, you can still get along. You can still be married to a person that believes something differently than you. As long as you come from a place of kindness and respect, we'll be all good. Take care, America. Thank you so much, Amanda. Thank you, guys. One of those times I don't think you realize what's on my mind. I've been too nice, way too long.